We are in Portion-Vayishlach, and we have a question on the table. Before we even started the class, we have a question. So it says, let's get to the verse right away. It says, Vayishlach Yaakov malachim lefanav, that Yaakov sent malachim. The word is malachim. It certainly is messenger. There's no question about messenger. The question is it a heavenly messenger or is it a human messenger? Okay. And who's he sent it to? El Easuv Achiv, to Easuv, his brother. Arsa Seir, told the land of Seir. By the way, that's Arsa and not Eretz. So it's the commentator takes the place of the Lamed. So Arsa Seir, to the land of Seir. Today Edom, the field of Edom. Rashi quickly says that these malachim are malachim mamash, heavenly bodies. Well, first of all, how can Rashi say that? Yeah. That's a question that Siftei Chachamim asks. Why is Rashi saying that? She says, the im lokein, if you don't say this, that is mamash, malachim, so then the fun of lamali. Why does he have to say before him? He should have just said, Vayishlach Yaakov malachim el Esav. He sent messengers to Esav. You don't have to say before him, in front of him. So that's number one. V'achi Pirushan, this is the explanation. Vayishlach Yaakov malachim lefanav, that Yaakov sent messengers in front of him, which means lifnei hashlichut, before this act of agency. Da'inu, and where does it come from? From the last verses of the previous parsha, where it says Vayifku bo malachei Elokim, and they met the angels of Hashem. Since he's already there in that situation, therefore he can send them to do something. He's given it because he meets them. He ran into them, as it were. So Hashem is sending them ahead. That's why it says malachim mamash, because it's going off the previous stuff, that he can send these angels ahead of him to check it out. Okay, that's really why. So your question is why malachim? Where does he get the authority? Because vayifku ubo, they met. Okay. So he's given a little bit of authority, as it were, to send them, and it's going with Hashem's meaning. The other people who would say, by the way, that it's just malachim. He sent messengers ahead, simple human messengers. Not everybody agrees with Rashi in that. Like I said, not really where I wanted to be, but I just want to address that. But it's a great question because, like I said, first of all, why does Rashi say it? Because the extra word, the fanav. That's really Rashi's question. So
that's somebody you said. Another commenter asked Rashi how he can
the Siftei Chachamim is a super commentary on Rashi that explains, pulling from other people, Rashi's question. What was Rashi's problem with the verse that Rashi felt obligated to leave a pshat? Simple pshat would be he sent malachim. He sent a human agency.
I think we said before that Rashi just comes out and makes a statement. He doesn't tell you where he's coming from. He expects you to know that.
Yes. Yeah. It's a game of Jeopardy. he answers it. You have to find out what the question is. Now the truth is, if you are a careful reader of the text, you will anticipate Rashi's questions. And then which is what you did. You said, what's malachim? Which Rashi says, malachim mamash. It's real malachim. He got your question. Now the only question is, why did you ask it? So you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So in other words, are you asking the question that Rashi is asking? Or are you asking a different question that Rashi just happens to answer? And then, so you have to get into that. That's why
I just looked at the word.
Right.
My eyes happen to fall on the pasuk in English where the angels. What's the word?
Right. Correct.
Malachim. Well, that could be messengers too.
Correct. That's what you have to ask. Yeah. So, like I said, but the important thing is, why did Rashi say? Why was Rashi forced to say malachim mamash? And that's because of the word, according to Chachamim, because of the extra word lifanav. Okay, that's what I'm saying. The more that you become sensitive to the text, the more you'll understand Rashi's question. Rashi's not there just to give you this is a running commentary. No, there's a problem with the text that we should be feeling, And then Rashi answers that. And that's the same, by the way, for all of the giants on this
like
page.
you pointed out before, like I think every Rob points out, there's no unnecessary words in the Torah.
Correct. Every word is necessary. Right. So that's the thing. So now what happens? So he says, Vayitzav otam, he commanded them, these messengers, Le'emor, saying, Ko tomrum la'adoni le'esav. Thus you will say, to my master Esav, Ko amar avdecha Yaakov, thus said your servant Yaakov, Im Lavan garti, I have lived with Lavan, va'echar ad ata, and I took this long, and have lingered until now. Now, what is the problem here? I don't want, again, this is my purpose today is to show you how to ready yourself to meet your enemy. Really, that's what I'm looking at. But I just want to get you into the verses here that he's telling his brother, I'm coming. But he doesn't just say I'm coming. He says, I was living with Lavan. Now, he's gone for how many years? 22 years. He has been gone for 22 years. The last Esav knew of him, according to the Midrash, was he sent Eliphaz, Esav sent Eliphaz, his son, to kill his uncle, to kill Esav, Yaakov, his brother, Eliphaz's uncle. Yaakov tells Eliphaz, take my money because, the old Midrash here, take my money because if you take my money, I'm like a poor man, and a poor man is considered like a dead man. Eliphaz, who was learning with Yitzchak, his grandfather, loved learning with Yitzchak, loved Torah, but he still had a problem. I have kibbud av ve'em, the mitzvah to honor my father, and I have a negative commandment, if you will, of don't murder. Okay, so I have a problem here. And what Eliphaz decides to do is to listen to Uncle Yaakov. So he takes his money. Thus, Yaakov is broke when he meets up with Lavan.
How long back was that?
That was 22 years. Talking 22 years.
Oh.
And he can go to his father. Eliphaz can go to his father Esav and say, Daddy, I did what you asked me to do. Because, again, a dead man is like a poor man is like a dead man.
He's dead.
Dead. Killed him. Took his money. He doesn't say, I took his money away. I killed him. Wait. So now, I did this many years ago when I was in Bangor. When I was giving a speech, I said, now can you imagine 22 years later?
Yeah.
Esav is having a good time. Killing people, doing what he wants to do. Maybe learning a little Torah, I don't know what he's doing. But he thinks he's in the clear. And suddenly, these messengers come and say, hello. Yes, your brother Yaakov is sending me a message. Go away from me. He said, hello, yes. Your brother Yaakov, leave me alone. Yaakov is dead. Shuts the door again. Hello, yes. Your brother, again is you? Okay, yes. Your brother Yaakov, stop. Eliphaz, come here, please. Gets his son Eliphaz and says, these people are telling me that my brother Yaakov is sending me a message. Can you please tell them that Yaakov is dead? And he says, Dad, we got to talk. 22 years later. It's a shock to the system. What was you going to ask?
Why didn't Esav just go himself?
Why did he send Eliphaz?
Yeah.
Because he sent to Eliphaz because if he would have killed his brother, then his father, who loved him dearly, would have gone against him. So as long as the father was alive, he couldn't do it himself, but he could certainly send out, assassins. He didn't do it. So that's how he's thinking. Okay, it's not the greatest logic in the world, but again, when you're dealing with emotion, you don't always think. This is an emotional thing. And he felt he was ripped off. He felt he was cheated. And so Esav wants to get revenge on his brother. And his brother's going out to get married. Okay, so fine. He's on the road. It's not hard to kill the guy. Let's kill him and get him out of the way. And I didn't do anything. I sent my son. Okay, Fine. But really, like I said, 22 years later, suddenly messengers are coming and telling them, hey, we're going. Now, what's the message? I lived with Lavan. Well, of course I know you live with Lavan. I know that Dad sent you. I know Dad and Mom sent you to Lavan. What are you telling me this for? So what does Rashi say? A very important thing. He says, Garti, lo na'asiti sa v'chashuv. I was not made into an officer or somebody important. Elagir, I am only a stranger. I was just living with him. I was a sojourner. That's one way. And therefore, eincha kadai lisnooti. You shouldn't be angry with me. You shouldn't hate me for the blessings of your father that he blessed me when he said, you will be greater than your brother, because it wasn't not fulfilled through me. So one part of the negotiation is he says, look, I know you hate me because I got the bracha, but really, let's face it, 22 years later, I'm still a pauper. I'm nothing. I'm worthless. I didn't become what you became. You became the head. You killed enough people. Now you're running your own system. It's great. But I didn't become that. I'm just a little guy. I was living with Uncle Lavan. I didn't do anything. That's
what is Easuv actually? It says the land of Seir, the field of Edom.
Yeah.
Easuv was actually running Edom at this point.
Yeah.
So he's a big.
He's a big guy. He's a big guy. He's a macher. Yeah.
Huh.
He says, I don't have any of the blessing that I was supposed, that the blessing hasn't come through me. Hasn't been fulfilled to me.
Correct.
But he's sending.
Oh, we'll get there. We're going to get there. I hear your question. Where he's going to send a gift.
Right.
I hear the question. And so that's what, by the way, this is all part of the negotiation.
Right. Not just
Okay.
a small gift.
Right, I understand. So wait. We didn't finish yet. Then he says, Garti. What else is Garti? So Rashi says, Garti, the numerical value of Garti is Tariag, 613. If you look at it, it's the same letters. So Garti is 613. So what's he saying? I lived with the love on the Rasha, yet I maintained the Torah. I didn't learn from his evil deeds. Why does he have to say that? Why does he have to say that? When does Easav's bracha kick in? That if your brother is evil, if your brother falls off the path, then you will break his yoke off your neck and you will take over. Correct? So the only way that Esav can take over on his brother is if the Jews, Yaakov and his descendants, leave the Torah. That's why, by the way, the non-Jews don't want us to keep Torah. It's not in their vested interest for us to keep Torah, because once that happens, then they no longer can rule the roost. And they know that. And that's for everybody out there. I don't care who's hearing that. That's a fact of life. Once we start following the Torah and we do it properly, then Hashem says, okay, done. Now you're on the top of the world again. Because that's all I wanted. I just want you to follow the Torah.
I once read an essay on Torah on a website.
Yeah.
About anti-Semitism. It was in many different, like 10 sessions long.
Right.
And he goes all the reasons that people usually give, and he says they're all false reasons. It boils down to is they know that the Jews have the truth, and that's why they hate us.
No, they hate us because
that's basically
they don't want us to rule over them.
Oh, well.
That's everything.
Okay.
The fact that they have the truth.
In the Torah, we're following the Torah.
Right, but we're not. That's the point. If we would follow the Torah, then they wouldn't be able to rule. Yeah.
So that's...
So I have two questions now.
Yes.
One, why would Esav care
Why would Esav care what?
that he kept all 600?
Because then you can't beat me.
Oh, okay.
You can't beat me.
Right. My second question would be, so you're telling me that that you kept all the 13 commandments, which means that I'm still below you. That's just gonna make you angry, no? Or yeah, you said.
But there's two sides to that. Again, on one side, all the brachas that you were afraid of, they didn't come true. On the other hand, you should understand it wasn't because I didn't keep the mitzvot. I did. And therefore, you can't touch me. So you have no real reason to be jealous of me, but at the same time, you can't hurt me. Yeah.
That means one part of the bracha is true.
Well, they all know the bracha is true. What he's trying to do is,
One part of the bracha is true.
one part of the bracha is not yet, he's saying, has not yet been fulfilled.
Right.
But the other one's still holding. And you shouldn't think that it wasn't fulfilled because I broke the mitzvot. I didn't. I kept them. So now, when you want to come after me, you can have a big problem. So that's really what it's. But this is negotiation already. He's sending a message. I was saying this is a way to negotiate. He's going to do a 3-step approach, which I want to hopefully get through. But I'll just say it. The 3-step approach is he tries to negotiate. Okay, he will send gifts. He'll negotiate and set up for war at the same time. That's already there. He will send gifts, try to avert the war, and finally he's going to pray to God. But he has to do his stuff first. Send out the messenger, send out everybody, and say, okay, let's go. Send out the gift. But after that's done, then he prays to God and says, look, you said to get me home. I'm counting on you for this. So really, you need 3 things, and it says that there's a famous thing of Masa Avot Simon Labanim, that the actions of the forefathers are assigned to us, how we should operate. So whenever we are entering into a situation where we're not really sure of, we should be ready to negotiate, fight or run, whatever we have to do, and then send gifts, try to bribe the guy off, okay, and then finally you have to pray to God, but and because God is the only one who can save you. And it said that this is the problem that we made with the Romans, because we brought the Romans into our family squabble with the Hellenists. With the Maccabees. We're coming right to the time for Hanukkah. The reason that the Maccabees lost after 200 years without even shooting an arrow, the Romans took over because they asked the Romans to come in. And that's what we keep doing. And that's, by the way, another thing. Why are you sending a message to your brother? He doesn't even know you're here. Just go home. If he comes into you, you have to deal with things. But the rabbis say this was a mistake that Yaakov made. He is like, you don't wake up a sleeping dog. The dog is asleep. Go past him. Just go slight. Yeah. But that's another thing. Yeah, who had the question?
I have a question.
Yeah.
I don't have a question. I remember from reading something about a book and talking about something about war. But if you want peace, prepare for war.
Correct.
So it's like, I want peace with you, but also know that if you attack me, you can't.
Correct. You won't win. Correct. That's the same thing we're talking here. Right. So he says the next verse. Vahili shor v'chamor. Now he says, I have an ox and a donkey, son, sheep, ve'eved, a servant, all singulars, v'shivcha and a maidservant. V'yeshlecha lahagid ladoni, and I am sending to tell my master, limsochein benecha, to find favor in your eyes. Now he keeps saying, my master, my master, my master. It's really not his master. Why is he addressing him as my master? Again, I'm playing on your kavod. I'm playing on your honor. If I keep calling you my master, you'll think, oh, so you're recognizing me as a top dog. Well, that's all I really want. I'm not asking for anything else, right? So, and he uses all the singulars because that is, as Rashi says, derech eretz, is proper conduct to talk about many oxen as singular and many slaves as singular. It's just a nice way to do it. Okay?
Funny, they don't translate it like that.
How they translate it?
In the plural.
Oh, that is incorrect.
Yeah.
It's and they're losing out on the Rashi, by the way, when they do that. Okay.
Oh, interesting.
So Art Scroll doesn't force you to learn Rashi, and if they do, they don't. You don't understand them. I don't know.
They don't comment on.
Yeah, so I don't know.
On verse 6.
Okay, let's go on. Vayeshuva malachim. Now these malachim come back. El Yaakov more, and they came back to Yaakov saying, Banu el achicha el Esav. We came to your brother, to Esav. Wait a second. We came to your brother. Who was his brother? Esav. Does he have any other brothers in the world that we know of? No other brother, right? Not a midrashic brother. There's no brother that we know of. There's no other brother. So why would the verse have to say, we came to your brother, to Esav? You hear the question? You hear the question or not?
I heard the question. Maybe because Esav is the. No, I know. Because before it says Esav your brother, now it says your brother Esav. It's talking about he's your brother, not Esav the wicked. That one. Because before I remember talking about referring to Esav, and they said Esav your brother. The reason it said Esav first was because it's recognizing that he's bad still. He doesn't like you anymore. Doesn't like you still. And now it says your brother Esav means he's your brother, so he's.
Well, it's the opposite. You want the opposite.
Yeah.
It's the opposite. So it says, we came to your brother. You said he's Esav Achiv. You said he's Esav your brother. We came to your brother, and he's not acting like your brother. He's acting like Esav.
Right.
That's why it says El Achicha El Esav. V'gam halach l'krakhan. He's also walking to you, he's coming to you. In other words, you're about to meet in a very quick fashion. Okay? And v'arba meod ishimod. He has 400 of his best friends with him. Yeah. In other words, we are ready to rumble. He's ready. He has 400 of his friends with him. And so, that's, okay, what happens? Vayira Yaakov. Yaakov is afraid. Ma'od. He's very afraid. Vayed shalo. And it distressed him. Okay, I understand he's afraid. Why is he afraid? 400 men coming with him. What can happen? He can die. Vayed shalo. He's distressed. What are you distressed by? So Rashi says, Yira shema yiharag. He's afraid that maybe he's going to die. And he's distressed that maybe he'll kill others who he shouldn't be killing. We have a simple rule that if somebody attacks me, I can defend myself. And if somebody is attacking you, I can stop that person from attacking you. But if I can stop that person by simply breaking his leg or her leg, rather than killing them, and I kill them, I'm guilty of murder. So maybe he's saying, maybe these people will come, but they're not really interested in killing me. But in the action of battle, in the fray of battle, I'm going to kill somebody unnecessarily. That distressed him. Okay, he's afraid he's going to be killed. Now the question is, how can he be afraid he's going to be killed? What did God say before? You're going to come back. I'm going to bring you back. You're going to see your dad. You're going to do everything else. So suddenly it's Vayira Ma'od. He's very afraid. What are you afraid of? I don't understand. I understand you're afraid you may kill somebody else. Okay, no problem. But that's Yetzer though. But Vayira though, you're afraid, yeah?
Is this a thing where, I forget where I heard it, but like the forefathers were not afraid, they would fear that they would spend their merit and they could lose.
Good. They said that's exactly the thing. He said, maybe I lost some merit, and if by killing somebody else, I may lose merit. That's one thing. Maybe I did something wrong, and Hashem is going to punish me. Maybe I'm deserving of punishment, because as we know, if I don't deserve punishment, nobody can punish me. That's how it works. If I'm deserving of punishment, can something happen to me? So here he's a Vayir. Maybe he made a mistake. I don't know. He's thinking that's always a way of a tzaddik. He's always afraid of that. Okay, fine. So what happens? Vayachatz. Now here's the second part. He sent messengers. Okay, and the second part is he hears 400 people coming with his brother. Vayachatz ila amashirito. He splits the camp up. Why? The sheep and the cattle and the camels. By the way, it doesn't say camel; it says camels into two camps. Vayomer, and he said, if Esav comes to one camp and smites it, to the other camp will be remaining as a remnant. In other words, we learn from this a very interesting thing, that you shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket. You thought that was an English saying. No, this really comes from the Torah. Okay? You don't put all your money in one corner. You don't put all your money in one bank. You split up your investments. It's never good to put everything in one place, because if you do, once you lose it, you lose it. So, yeah.
Just an anecdote, I don't know, maybe. But because we collect eggs, so if you have a really big basket, you don't have to worry about putting all your eggs in the basket.
Okay.
Unless you
drop the basket,
you drop,
the
yeah,
eggs break.
I know, but then if you drop the other basket, and if you drop one basket, you're going to drop other baskets. I don't know, like a big enough basket.
If you have 2 baskets and you drop one, you still have a basket.
Okay, that's the point. You don't want to put all your money in one place. Okay, that's really the point. So, or you don't want to put all your camp on one side, because if they would get killed, they would get killed. Rashi, by the way, and all the rabbis point out, that's why in Gullus, in where we are, diaspora, the Jews were never, except for Purim, the Jews were never all under one rule. Purim was the only time, that historical time of Purim was the only time that we were under one demonic person's rule, named Achashverosh. Otherwise, we've never been under everybody's rule. It's the Greeks, then you had the Romans, then you had the fights, and you had this. But there was always a place we could run. And to this very day, there's always a place. There's never been one place, even for Germany, we weren't all there. There were already Jews in America. There were Jews in other places, in Russia, and so on and so forth, that the Germans couldn't get to. So it's interesting that this concept of, one party will split the camp up, so that even if you get one, the other one always remains, has been something that has lasted with us for a long time, to this very day, yeah.
I just wanted to say, I don't know if it's the flip side of that, but in World War II, when the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, they thought the Americans had put all their eggs in the basket. When they bombed Pearl Harbor, they thought they would be able to destroy the American Navy one fell swoop and be able to control all of the Pacific.
Right.
But they didn't.
Correct.
And they awoke the monster.
Right, okay.
The giant.
So now, like I said, that was the second part. He split the camp up, get ready for war. First you try to bribe, then you try to split, then you split the camp up. The third step of meeting your enemy is Vayomer Yaakov. Yaakov said, Elokei Avi Avraham, the God of my father Avram, Velokei Avi Yitzchak, and the God of my father Yitzchak, Hashem, Haomer Elai, the one who said to me, Shuv la'artzecha, return to your land, Umoladecha, and to your birthplace, Ve'ti ve'imach, and I will be good with you. Katonti, I am small. Mikola chasad, mikola emet, from all this kindness, from all this truth, asher asita avdecha, that you've done to your servant. Kibamakli avarti ediyadinazeh, because with my staff I crossed this Jordan. And now I am 2 camps worth. I can make enough for 2 camps. Okay, so he says, please save me, or again, save me now from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Easuv. Because I am afraid of him. Pen yavo, lest he come, v'hikani, and he smite me. Aim albanim, mothers and children. V'yata amarta, and you said, Heteve tivimach, I will surely be good with you. V'samti etzaracha k'chol hayam, and I will make your seed like the sand of the seashore. Asher lo yisapir merov, that will be numerous, that you would not be able to count them because they are so numerous. So he says, when he says katonti, Rashi explains, nitma'atu zechiyutai al yedei chasadim ve'emet, that my merits were shrunk through the kindnesses and the truth that you've done for me. And therefore I am afraid, because perhaps from the promise that you said that I will support you, maybe again I did some sin, and that transferred it, and that therefore you're going to transfer me or give me over into the hand of Easuv. So he doesn't, again, no tzaddik, no person knows if it is time's up or not. I can make my preparations, I can get everything going, but at the same time, I always have to put that equation to say, Hashem, I don't know, maybe I did something wrong. If I did, I need to tshuva for it. You need to help me out here. But at the same time, you can't say that from the very beginning, right? You need to set everything up. You have to do everything possible. You have to be hishtadlish. You really have to endeavor to do that. That's why when, I'll give you an example, a personal example, when we have the minyan, and I know there's going to be eight strong, okay? So I say, well, this guy usually comes, and I don't make the call. What happens? Hashem gives me 9. Not 10, not 8, not 7, not 6. Gives me 9. 9 is a torturous number. Because if you would have made just one call, and so on and so forth. So what you're learning there is you have to send out the emails. You have to make the calls. You have to do what you're going to do. You have to try to recruit. And then you've done everything you can. Then you say to Hashem, I've done everything I can. Now I leave it to you. My success or failure is up to you. Either you want me to double the minyan or you don't. The same thing with when you're when you're working and you want to put some money away for your future. Okay? Let's face it, everybody knows that when you're trying to put something away for the future, the present catch up with you very, very quickly. And you always need something. You always can spend your money somewhere else. Or that this bill comes out, that bill comes up. And what you have to ask Hashem for every single time, after you've given your meiser, after you've given 10% to tzedakah where it belongs, then you have to say, Hashem, I need your help. I want to do, like you talk to your father, Dad, I need money. So here I gave you what you asked for, so could you please help me learn how to do this? So either you make your investments, and by the way, even with all the investments that we make in the world, when we put into stock market, it can either go up, it can go down. It's nothing. It's like gas prices. You don't know what's going to happen from one day to the next. And so you could be rich in 1 second and poor in the next. Literally. It doesn't take long. Just like gas. One time gas can be $1.90, and I've seen it at $1.90, and then the very next day, $2.29. That is a ridiculous jump in price. Yeah. That is a ridiculous jump in price. But I've seen that, and that's the same with the stock market. It can go for, you were looking at the 20,000 at the Dow. They were like, went up, it went down, up, down. Who knows what's going to happen? People sneeze and it goes up and down. Okay, but that's really what's going on. So his speech is very important. Now what he does in the second Dali already. V'yalin sham balayla. And what he did was he went to lie down that night. Vayikach men ababi yado mincha le'esav le'chiv. So now what he's doing is he's splitting up the gift, what he's going to give to his brother. What does he do? Easuv matam chashem eshem. So he takes 200 she-goats, 20 he-goats, and mind you, the numbers are very important here. People learn a lot from these numbers. 200 sheep, elim esrim, and the male is 20. And they're saying, we learn from this, let me just finish, Gemalim and Nikod, Nehem Shloshim, so the camels and the nursing camels and the young, 30, Parod Arba'im Parim Asara, male cows, 40, female cows, 40, and the male cows, what do you call them? Bulls? Bulls, 10. Okay, Atanot, female donkeys, 20, Ayarim, male donkeys, 10. So what you're learning from here is everybody has, Rashi brings this down from the Gemara, that every person has a different obligation to their spouse. So in other words, we have to, when we get married, we owe our spouse males owe the spouse 3 things: ona, ksuta, and food. I forget the. Okay, sexual, marital, essential intercourse, food, and what I said the other thing was clothing. Okay, so I have to give those 3. Now what happens is, let's say I'm on the road. I'm a truck driver. Well, I'm not going to be home every night. So if my wife's marrying me knowing that I'm not going to be home every night, so she can't expect marital relations every night. Unlike if I'm a person who works in town, then she could say that's part of the marriage. So what we're hearing from here is, why did he have to give 200 of females versus a lower number of males, because one male can satisfy a lot of females. So, and that's what they're doing. So we're learning the numbers here, that if a man is, like I said, if you're a sailor, you only have to do it once in 6 months, because that's all you're home for. And that's what she's buying into. Okay, and so on and so forth. So we're learning how they figured this out. Now the truth is, other rabbis, I remember learning this, they say we really don't know how they're getting everything here, what the numbers are coming from, but fine. But what all we're learning is that everybody has a different amount of times that they have to have onah. That's all. That's really what you learn here. So what does he say? He gives this gift into the hands of the servants, flock by flock, by themselves. And he says to his servants, pass before me, and put a space between them. Why? Right, make them look bigger. Now my brother is a wicked guy. Okay, I'm trying to be nice with the language, and he's really greedy. And so if you show him a long stretch of thing, he'll say, "Oh, beautiful gift." Okay, so it's all optics. By the way, optics is very, very, very important. Optics is always important. Yeah.
I can imagine if he's waiting, like also prepared for war, and you see all these like the clouds coming up from all those sheep and stuff. He thinks Yaakov is bringing his men for war.
No, because he sees sheep. He'll see sheep right away. He's not going to see. You're not going to see the clouds. That's
horses.
Yeah. This is sheep coming. So he sees sheep and he sees all these animals. Yeah.
Going back before, it says you said you'll make when Yaakov was talking about Hashem. He said you'll make me like the sand of the seashore. If I'm correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's Abraham's blessing.
It's well, they said to everybody.
Everyone?
Everybody gets they were both like the sand of the seashore and the stars of the sky.
I thought Yitzchak was the dust of the earth.
But the rabbis say that through them all, we learn that Hashem said both opinions, both sides to everybody. Yeah, it's a good question. So then it says, like I say, gives him to ours, and he said, put a space. By the way, here again, our rabbis learn that why do you say put a space between them? Because that way we, the children, when one person wants to attack us, we're going to have time to recover before the next attack comes. In other words, we don't get attacked one by. It wasn't the Egyptians, then the Persians, then the Greeks, then the Romans. We had time. And by the way, in Eretz Israel, interestingly enough, we see this many times too, that the Palestinians attack, and then they lose. Baruch Hashem. They lose. And then there's a break in the action, because they've lost so badly. There's a break in the action. And then it takes a couple of years, and then they go back to it again. So much so that the Israeli soldiers who are not religious, they say, again? We've done this already. It's a repeat. What do you want from me? Let's just leave me alone already. But that's what happens. As long as we don't return to Hashem, and as long as we keep doing what we're doing, so because of this setup, our rabbis tell us Hashem will always give us a breather so we can do tshuva. But that's up to us to do tshuva. But that's all, and again, that's Masim Avot, similar Banim. The acts of the fathers is assigned to the children. Yeah.
As long as you're doing the bad stuff that you're doing, not the good stuff. Keep the good stuff up.
Right, as long as we're sinning. As long as we're sinning, so that's one, but we can be doing good with the bad. But the point is to make a total tshuva. Yeah.
So from what I brought up a while ago, it was Easuv's not a dumb guy. Yaakov just said he's a poor man, and now he's seeing all the flocks and all the sheep.
And so
he's putting it out in a way that.
But he's calling him Adoni, my master, my master, my master, my master, my master.
I'm a poor man, and I have.
Yeah, I'm not as rich as you. You run the system. You run Edom. I'm a simple guy. So I have some sheep. I have this. I have that. What am I? Who am I? I have 5, 6. I don't have Like granddad had 318 servants. I have 5, 10, 15. What do I have? I have nothing. Compared to you, you're a tzaddik. You have a whole place. I mean, if I want to make you feel good, I can make you feel good. And by the way, what's really in the game? I just have to make you feel good. I can say, oh wow, Avi is tremendous with you. Oh, whatever I have to do to flatter you, I can do. It's not a hard thing to flatter, and I can make it even sound true. Yeah.
Was Easuv a king or a leader or what?
Easuv was a leader. He was a leader. I don't think he ever called himself a king, but he was a leader amongst men. Remember, he was a good negotiator. He knew how to. He also did negatives. Right. He was. He had a kingdom. I mean, he
around him and got people under him.
Right. I mean, he has 400 friends coming to fight his brother. Who's with his brother? Really? You have 400 people with you to get rid of this little kid? I mean, but obviously, if you can get 400 people to get on their horses, donkeys, or camels, however they're traveling, and to chase after him, well, you did a good job. You have a lot of people there. Yeah.
Just in case we don't make it to the point, but I'm pretty sure later in the thing it says when Easuv goes back, the Rashi says Easuv went back by himself because the 400 people that were with him, slowly as he went back to their own things.
What happened was, we're not going to get this, so I'll just say it to you. What happened was when they saw that Easuv and Yaakov made up, then they said, okay, no more fighting, and they started to go back. They weren't interested anymore.
They go back with Easuv.
No, they went back to themselves. Yeah, they left little by little, and they went back. But that was a very touching thing. Let me just get to that scene, by the way. If we just turn the page. Like I said, right now there's two things, so much here I can talk about. But just to get to that scene, it's right here. He bows down to him. Let's cut right to it. It's on page 176. 176. What he does is he sends a verse 3, right? Verse 2. I'm sorry. Verse 2. He says, he put the handmaidens and the children first. Leah and her children next, and then Rachel and Yosef, and finally Rachel and Yosef last. And we learn from the Achron Chaviv, the last one is the most dear. Vahu, then what he does is Jacob, Avar Lifneim, he passes before them, Yishtachu Arza, Shevev Pa'amim, and he bows down toward the ground 7 times. Ad Gishto Ad Achiv, until he reaches his brother. Vayaras Esav Likrato. So Esav, his brother, Esav, runs to meet him, Vayivchapkehu, and he hugs him, Vayipol al Savarav, and he falls on his neck, Vayishakehu, and he kisses him, Vayivku, and he cries. Okay, now, if you notice, just dots on top of Vayishakehu, okay? Rashi says that, Vayishakehu, that it means that he tried to bite him. And because of those dots, so it's interesting because Chacham says on that in, at least for Rashi's Torah, there was not a dot above the shin. So it was Vayikehu. And therefore, that's why he said he bit him. And when he bit him, his neck turned into marble, the Midrash says. He broke all his teeth and he cried. To say. Because what's he crying for? Really, so you could all say he's crying from emotion, tremendous emotion, and that's another one that Rashi says that he really kissed him out of love after seeing him bow and denigrate himself to his brother. He said, I love you, you're great, you're tremendous. But Rav Shimon ben Yochai says halachi, it's a halacha, it's yedua. It's a known thing that Esav hates Yaakov. But at this particular moment, his compassion overtook him. And he really kissed him with a full heart. That's how they're looking at this. So the question is there a real kiss? Is it not a real kiss? Did he run towards him because he realized I have to kill you now? Or was it that he saw him bowing and denigrating himself and he really wanted to do it? He really loved his brother at that point. And so much so that his brother will say, I want to go with you. We want to go to dad together. And Yaakov keeps saying, no, I can't go that fast. Gives him all the excuses in the world because he knows one thing. If I stay with my brother, we're going to talk about the old days and we're going to have problems. So rather I'll meet you up in the times of Mashiach, or I'll beat you then. Because it's not worth doing it now. Okay, we'll have to stop here. Like I said, there's a lot to talk about. You have the angel fighting with Yaakov. You have the rape case of Dinah. And the negotiations that the brothers did with the town of Shechem and ultimately wiping out the town of Shechem. And the question is, how could Tzaddikim do that? They made a deal. How could they wipe them out? So many beautiful questions on this parsha. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Yes, ma'am.
Is this responding for the Kiddush?